Time for public comment. Is there any public comment? Please come forward to the podium. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion then for the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion for the consent calendar for the approval of board meeting minutes for January 21st, 2026, and approval of the payables as submitted. We're removing the approval of the district monthly financial statements because there has been a change in an accounting firm. So we just need to get them caught up. We'll have financials for next month.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Next up, Executive Director's Report. Drum roll.
Chairman. I just have a couple of things to go over, but first of all, I just wanted to thank the board members for their volunteerism, understanding that this is a voluntary position that you hold, and I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to have the privilege of carrying on the good work that this group has done, and feel that it's really beneficial to the taxpayers of Coeur d'Alene. I wanted to do a quick accounting update just to follow up on the motion. We did have a pretty abrupt exit of our previous provider, which put us into a situation where we had to find a new one. That is going well, and Robinson Financial will be taking care of us going forward, and I don't see any issues with that, and we should have financials for January and February for the next meeting. The next item is the Percy enrollment, and I am just asking for a motion that us as an employer, Ignite CDA Urban Renewal Agency, has elected to join Percy. So if there could be a motion for that.
I'll make a motion that Ignite CDA become a member of the Percy program and enroll as a eligible employer.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I would just add that this was part of the employment contract with our new executive director, and in order for us to enroll him in Percy, we have to, as a board, formally in the meeting minutes, elect to become a member of Percy. They require that, so that's why we're making a deal out of it, essentially.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks, that motion carries.
Thank you. And next up, we have an update from Danielle Quaid on the Bear Waterfront.
So a couple of weeks ago, Will and Tony and I met with the Bear Waterfront team. You'll recall, that this is the parcel just north of Belle Reve where we relocated the trail, or the Standcraft team relocated the trail, and was going to build a building and some parking and some other public improvements. It's taken quite a while, but they're in process to do that, and they expect to have all of it completed by March of 2027. We currently have in the 6th DDA amendment that they would be complete by the end of this year. So that's one change that they're asking for, is a 3-month extension to March 31, 2027. And then the other change is that they are asking that they let these two, let's see, can you hear me from here? This area right here was going to be like a private pay parking lot, but it's now behind a gate on Belle Reve, so nobody can access it even if it was available for private pay parking, it would be only for the Belle Reve homeowners that are behind this gate. So they would like to change the use of this area to 2 building sites, home sites, and in exchange they want to build public parking here, which is behind, this is the depot building. So this would be free, open to the public parking, along with all of this is also free, open to the public parking. And in exchange, they would like to add 2 home sites here. And they worked that out with the Belle Reve Homeowners Association. But they need our consent to change because it does differ from the plan that was approved in the DDA. And then this is the most recent rendering of the building, the depot building that's going to be there on the corner. They have a tenant, a pizza place from Spokane, Flying Goat, I believe, is going to be in that, as well as they're in negotiations with a coffee kind of a bar vendor, and then they have one more retail space that they're not sure who's going to be in. But that, I believe this meets the intent of what the building was supposed to look like, so this is just kind of for your information. Oh yeah, there's the Flying Goat. But it's the change to the use of the land that they're requesting our approval on. So if you are in agreement with that change, we would do a DDA amendment to reflect that, both the March 31, 2027, and then the change of the public parking and allowance of this 2 additional home sites off of Belle Reve.
Both of those covered in one motion.
I think you can do just approval to amend the DDA to reflect the extended date and the change in use, and then this document will be included in that DDA amendment.
Sounds great.
Mr. Chair, do we approve the DDA amendment? So is this an approve?
I think you would just authorize us to have Will execute a DDA amendment.
Okay, just double checking.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
as a point of record, I don't remember the prior DDA agreement. Since we're on version number 6, I've lost track. What was the alternate previous proposed uses in these properties?
So this was going to be just green space, which Bill Greenwood's wasn't that crazy about anyway, is my understanding, because it's just more like grass space that he would have to maintain. Because this is public, this area is public. And then this was going to be that private for pay parking that was going to be for use by the Belle Reve homeowners and then others potentially, but it was going to be a private pay lot.
Okay, so the net public benefit of the DDA is neutral, in your opinion?
I think so. I mean, I would say it's maybe even a little bit positive because there's more parking spaces here than there was going to be here. And these are free and open to the public. And they'll be accessible to the depot building, as well as, it's close proximity to the trail, the park. So, I mean, I think they're going to be very popular because, as you know, the other lots down there are not public. They're all pay unless you're visiting a business and you get validated.
You're leading the witness, so to speak. So my concern is that the user group, at some point there's going to be so popular that the Iron Goat retailers are going to say, time out, landlord, I need reserved parking for my space, and I want to make sure we've got clear expectations going in of how many of those are reserved for public use and cannot be co-opted back again for specific exclusive private use.
I can go back to the Standcraft team and ask Rob about that. These are on public property. So they're on the city's property. So I don't think there's any potential for those to be co-opted to private.
Perfect.
This is on the property that's owned by the Standcraft entity. So those might be potentially up for reserved for the building uses.
Agreed. Some balance is appropriate, but as long as there is some that's clearly never going to get encroached on, or at least reserved. Obviously, the customers would park there, and so there's a shared use, and that pool of parking has a whole lot of versatility to it. But as long as that total net benefit of the DDA to the public maintains its integrity.
I think so. And we gain all this parking as well,
Correct.
which is also free and open to the public.
Which is needed for the Riverstone series there, too.
Yeah.
Concert series, trail access, there's so many reasons why that's good clarification. Thank you.
Yeah. I will double check that too with them and make sure.
Okay.
Other questions?
Kiki?
Mr. Chair, Danielle, when did this gate, has that always been there as part of the DDA to have that gated where that parking lot was?
I learned of that gate at that meeting. I was not aware of that. My understanding is that, I mean, that had to be approved by the city, right? Because Belle Reve is otherwise public.
It's private drive, I think.
On that side? Because the other side's public, I think.
I think this one's private.
That's private. Bill thinks it's private. I understand, it sounds like the gate had just gone
Turned
in
into private,
and
that's
become
for sure.
functional, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know about it before that either. I could look into that for you if you want me to,
Okay.
Kiki.
I don't know that it's, I don't know that it's going to make any difference for today's decision. It just seems like I'm glad you think that it's an equal trade for these trades, but it feels like this has turned into a private entity complex with some public access that may or may not be limited in the future. So,
They did so the trail relocation is already in. So that was a huge public benefit that we wanted as part of this project. And they are maintaining the access points from the park down, there's two of them, I think the second one is here, from the park all the way down to the waterfront, to access that boardwalk that was built by Ignite. So they are doing that, and then this is also public space that they're building this on city property. It's like a train wheel art
Turnstile.
installment. So I think that with the trade for the parking is kind of, I think probably a little bit on balance, a better benefit for the public.
so the water access, is that going to, where does that dead end?
So there's, I don't know exactly how this lines up with the main commercial building there on Belle Reve, but this access is supposed to go all the way through to the waterfront boardwalk.
It still
And we
does, right?
specifically asked
Between La Peep and Terrassa?
Well, there's one there's actually about 5 access points, I believe.
Further down.
They're kind of hard to see.
Yeah, they're pretty
You can see them
intentionally
if you're
hard
on
to
the
see.
boardwalk side. It's harder to see them if you're on the Belle Reve side.
Yeah.
But the idea is that this would lead people down to that public boardwalk.
Yeah, I had the same comment as Kiki. I was kind of curious about that too, and especially since, as I recall, they also asked the city for a lot adjustment a while back too, didn't they? On those properties, so you know that their intention was to eventually make that into something other than what they were intending.
I'm not familiar with
No,
that either.
I'll just share some of my questioning is because I think the public had a lot of heartburn over, and this is years back, a lot of you've been here for a while, but a lot of heartburn over what happened during the building of the other end of Belle Reve, in that there was all this public space promised, and things got through on these promises, and what kind of ended up happening was this boardwalk that's technically public, but about 92% of the public doesn't know that it's public. And I feel I'm sensing the same thing, only larger, happening here. So I just want to voice that's kind of gives me a little heartburn over that situation. And I don't, at this juncture, think there's anything that can be done about that. It's not that it won't be a beautiful complex. It just won't be viewed as really wholly open to the public.
As a follow-on comment, I agree with your philosophy there. Is there a requirement now? We have an opportunity to add some additional terms to the DDA that we require them to sign that as from the public to the public waterfront. Because I would agree with you, those perhaps are not the most well-broadcast public amenities in our community. And so in this opportunity, we could say, yes, thank you for putting the parking there. Let's be sure we have 3 different locations for public signage to direct folks to the waterfront. Would that be a way that we could counteract that balance?
It is a good option. One of the things, though, is I asked where the terminus of this is going to be, because what will happen is there's public access to the waterfront and 3 square feet to stand there and look at the water. So what is actually the public benefit? Because it won't be viewed as something that, if I was walking down there, I wouldn't want to walk between 2 houses and stand on 3 feet of gravel to look at the water. It's just not going to happen. So I think it has zero value of public benefit.
Well, if we can get them to the boardwalk,
Right.
Because there are access points to the boardwalk. So if we could sign them all the way down to the boardwalk, I feel like there is public benefit to that because people don't, I think you're right. I mean, I know it's public, so I go down there when I'm at Le Peep or whatever and walk on the boardwalk, and it's long and gorgeous, but there's nobody ever on it.
It's a great spot to get picked up and dropped off. you
Yes,
know?
it sure is. So I think signage could be beneficial.
Is this something that has to be decided today, or is there the ability to secure some of the things that we were talking about so that there's better guarantee of public access?
No, I could certainly take that back to the Stancraft team and ask them what we could do to ensure. Because you're right, I think this access point is going to be in front of the gate, is my understanding, but this one is behind the gate. So they would have to come from up here and come all the way down to access the boardwalk.
And cross the trail and go through in between what now was going to be a parking lot, but now is going to be private residences or some other kind of,
Right, and my understanding is that there's nothing going to be built on this, but these are the two home sites. But I can confirm that also. So if the access actually is going to be pinched between the two homes and bring that back, and I can ask them to come back if you would rather have a presentation from them.
and the signage situation, and what parking or what leads to the paths that go there? I mean, are they just off of the trail? I guess we're making a permanent trade without any guarantees of the actual benefit being equal. And I would sense that the Flying Goat is going to do exactly what you said and say, I need this for my customer parking. And I would also sense that it's going to be probably closed to private parties on a regular basis. So I just sense that coming, based on what this campus looks like. And so on paper, the public access and benefit looks great, but in practice, will it be?
Sure, I can certainly get back to them with those questions and either have Rob come and present or bring back responses.
And if I'm remembering correctly, there's only one access point on that side. All the other access points are, because Le Peep is like,
Le Peep's kind of over here, right?
No, it's on
No,
the
No,
other
it's on the other side.
Further right.
This way?
It's off the screen on the
Off
right,
the
yeah.
screen over here, yes, you're right.
I would like to see the drawing either broken up into smaller pieces so that it's easier to see, or that we be provided the ability to look at it on our own in a PDF that we could blow up like on our computer screen or something and try to, I can't, I can follow your cursor, but it's very hard to picture it with just this small, without the context around it is where I'm hesitating a little bit.
Sounds good. Well, we will gather some more information and bring it back. I don't think there's any rush. I mean, they are proceeding to build the depot building, but that's not going to change anything, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Well, we have a motion and a second.
we do?
I think maybe withdraw the motion and we'll just not take action on
Who
it
made
this
the
month.
motion? I don't
Wasn't
think
a
anybody
motion.
There wasn't a motion.
You're right. I don't know that there
No,
was a
we
motion.
didn't have a motion.
I think we were still in staff discussion.
Yeah.
Then we withdraw this action item,
Okay.
We're just not gonna
we'll
act on
leave
it.
for next month. Thank you.
failed because of no motion.
All right. Phil, would you like to address the Atlas project for us, please?
Yes, sir.
Phil Boyd.
It'll be easier on you.
No, we won't.
No, we won't.
Well, you might. I don't
Welcome,
know.
Mr. Boyd.
Thank you,
Bring back the
Chairman
sign
Hoskins and board members. Quick update today. First item on the Atlas agenda is the attainable housing update. Next week, February 23rd, we've got an ad hoc committee meeting. Several of you are part of that and will be in attendance for that. And then you guys saw the email circulating around for a board workshop. We were trying to find a date. I think the date looks like March 24th. So hopefully that works for the board members still, and if so, Will and I will get that put out. So at that workshop, what will be happening at the ad hoc committees, we'll have of a preliminary review of the architectural design standards, some displays of the site, and also a discussion on the communication strategy that the board wanted to advance. And so the ad hoc committee will review those things, give direction to the team. Team will go back and refine them, and then that's what will be presented at the board workshop for your guys' final review. Any questions on that progress? Okay. On the Phase 3 earthwork, I wish I had more to say other than we had been looking at River's Edge. They apparently are going to have some soils to us. They're working on some construction there that's going to produce the structural soils. So we have to wait for them to get done. We haven't heard anything new out of the two I-90 contractors yet about their availability of surplus soils. So currently, we're not having great success getting free material. So at the next board meeting, I think we'll be in a position where we're probably going to make some decisions. And maybe we'll workshop it a little bit at the March 24th, because we can present some different detailed scenarios for y'all to consider. Any questions on that one? Okay, I'll move on to the next one, the Celti Shared Use Path. This drawing, some of the council people might have seen this drawing before. This is courtesy of Monty McCauley at the City of Coeur d'Alene. The red here shows the city's trail network, and the yellow with the line through it here shows the portion of the trail network that is now disrupted by I-90 construction. And then that little yellow piece right there is a piece of the trail network that's disrupted by our construction on Phase 3. When this came to light, the city reached out to us and said, gosh, we would really love if you guys could put that piece of the trail back into service, because I don't know all the details, but Monty just said it was really key to the way that some of the events are run. So members of my team and Will went out on site, met with the city, and talked through different scenarios. This is an aerial photograph that shows how, here's our Phase 3 site, this is the future park here. And you can see how the trail was disrupted as we were working in here. There's a berm placed along there because there was quite a drop off here, and we didn't want people bailing off the edge there. So the trail used to be here. And I'll show you why we need to move it here at some point in the future. And that's kind of what we were delaying with the city, is like, well, the trail's going to get moved at some point, and we don't want to really go restore that trail if we're just going to move it here. So one of the folks in my shop came to me and said, well, let's just go move the trail now and see if the city will allow us to leave it in a gravel condition until the asphalt plants open up. So the reason that the trail needs to be moved is because of our layout here that you guys might remember. We're trying to squeeze out every inch we can, and by moving the trail from here to here, it allows us to sneak this alley behind these rear-loaded townhomes, and gives us a little bit of parking on that north side. And we had talked to the city about it conceptually, and they said, gosh, yeah, we think that's fine. We don't see any impact of that, and we plan to do it. Just about 2 weeks ago, they said, can you come please do it sooner than later? So we reached out to La Riviere, generated a little set of plans here to show where we needed the trail to get moved to. There's a couple of utility relocations that need to happen, very small things of private utilities, gas and power, that the city is willing to undertake. And we gave La Riviere a set of plans and said, will you please price this for us to go move it, which they did. There's the price for the work here. And you can see the inclusions down here and clarifications. And so this would be the work where they would go in and get this done as soon as we possibly can, so we can put that piece of trail back in service. The last part of the story is where does the money come from? This is a summary of your project budgets for Phase 1, 2, the Ramsey Pit project, the landscaping and irrigation, and your monument signs. And so these are all the original contract values. These are the final contract values, except for the monument signs, of course, because we haven't finished them yet. And then this number shows the under budget amount current on the project. So you can see, like phase 1 was under budget, phase 2 was over budget intentionally because we were doing some of the earthwork planned in for the Ramsey Pit in the phase 2, and that's why the Ramsey Pit is so far under budget. And I can bore you with some more details if you'd like. And then the landscape project was just slightly over budget there, and you can see that that's the surplus. So you currently have money you've authorized for the project, but the projects are complete. We're just under budget by $432,000. So this money could come out of that budget you previously authorized.
And this isn't additional work, this is work that has to be done anyway at some point in time. It was just seemed to be a better idea to do it now to get the trail open for the city's benefit.
Yep.
And
Good
it won't be
point.
in the way of future construction?
No,
Of phase 3?
we intended to just get it moved out of our way. And one clarification, we may end up putting temporary fencing down there when we pull this berm down. As we're filling this site, we'll put construction fencing along there, which we would do anyway, just to keep the public from coming into the work zone.
Mr. Chair, Phil, regardless of whether the trail bends out or not, what is going to be in between that back alley and the trail?
So
I can't remember.
This doesn't show it super well in this image, but these are parking spaces. On the north side of that parking space, there's a short retaining wall.
Okay,
And then there's a slope that goes up to the trail.
okay.
And it will be planted with trees and bushes that we intend for the HOA to maintain because it creates a little bit of a buffer between the public space and the private space down below.
Okay, thank you. I just couldn't recall what that buffer was going to be.
Yeah, it would run kind of right along that space there. And then just continuing on with that, the intention is to also do some improvements in here with natural style landscaping that doesn't require a bunch of maintenance, but some coniferous trees and whatnot in here.
Okay.
And I believe what we talked about is leaving that berm where it is now because it's required for protection, and then adding fencing further down towards the bottom of the trail because that portion is still greater than the allowable slope in proximity to a public trail. So instead of moving a bunch of dirt, we thought we'd just leave what's there and put in some fencing.
So if I heard you right, Phil, this is a temporary, and so it'll go in as a compacted gravel?
Correct. So our intention is we're going to go in and build it like it's a trail. We'll put in sacrificial base rock,
Yep.
a portion of it, and so then when it gets ready to get paved, we'll go pull off that couple inches of sacrificial rock and then pave it. Because we anticipate it'll get contaminated with just other things that are in there, that top bit of rock.
Is that estimate we have include the paving, even though
does
it's a
not.
delayed phase? Does not?
It does not. Nope.
And do we know so in order to get the trail back to its original condition, we need to mentally budget more?
We do. We didn't get that far with Le Riviere because we were pushing them to get us this price here.
Their original estimate with paving, I believe, was $45,000. And that would have included the scope of this work as well.
Back to your original point, that's part of the scope that we would have to tackle anyway. We're just accelerating that prior
Right,
to
other than the
execution.
sacrificial topping, the trail's going to be built the way it would be permanently built
That makes sense.
So that,
and in the place that it's going to remain.
so if we knew all along that we were going to have to replace the trail, didn't we budget for it?
We did.
We did. It's just that it's in a future project. So it's in the,
Okay.
when we have previously presented this project, and we've shown you guys the financials on it, and and what Tony has put in your 2026-27 budget, the costs for this are in that budget.
Or in phase 3?
Correct.
Okay.
What I'm saying is the board doesn't necessarily need to authorize expenditures out of that budget. because you currently have it out of this previous funding from,
I'm following, but
Yeah.
I mean, we may need clarification later on.
yeah. Go ahead.
Did you want to add something first? I just had a question on actually the trail piece itself, on that map there. It looks like the trail goes, and then this piece is connecting, but it terminates at that egress point. Is that Ignite property that's going to have to be done again, or is that city, and it is connected?
This will connect to the existing trail, and that egress point that you see right there is a construction entrance, and that will ultimately go away. And so this is Heartwood up here that you see at the top of the screen here. This is just a temporary construction easement, because while we can, we've been directing the truck traffic through here as opposed to going down our brand-new beautiful street and putting a bunch of vehicle loads on it to the extent we can.
That makes sense, but when that is no longer needed, is the city or Ignite going to have to come in and put a patch?
We'll put it in as part of Phase 3 when we tear this out.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll tear this out as part of Phase 3. So once the whole site's filled, we'll abandon this, tear out, put curb in there, and pave across that section in
And
there.
patch that?
Yep.
Okay.
We're also patching, we're making a repair down here as part of this scope of work, because the board might remember when we were excavating down in here, we found an enormous piece of concrete. And Riviera was trying to be delicate in getting it out of there, but they did the best that they could, and this part of the trail kind of caved in. So ultimately, we're going to temporarily treat that, and then in the future, we'll cut it out and repave it as part of the permanent paving solution.
Thank you.
Commissioner Miller brought up a different point then. So go back up to the connection to, you said Heartwood was the next intersection up there?
Yes.
So will we have a paved connection, if we invest the $40,000 in the next couple of months, will we have a paved trail connection from Heartwood all the way down to the intersection of the other trail that goes under the highway?
Correct.
Okay, so we'll have a temporary construction entrance over the trail.
Yep.
And then we'll remove the temporary construction entrance, but trail traffic would be unimpeded for this summertime tourist season.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And if there's a tremendous hauling endeavor that occurs right here, well, if it gets really busy, the city has asked us to put flaggers out. You guys might remember on Atlas when we were hauling in and out of there, the city, even though the trail volume is very low, the city just asked us, just put flaggers out there anyway, because it's little kids riding on bikes and whatnot. And so we did that on Atlas, and so if they asked us to do that here, we would do the same thing.
And I believe if they have an event that uses that trail, they provide their own now. Isn't that right? I think so. Anyway, it doesn't matter, just you might want to make
Yeah.
note.
Any further comments? We need a motion to approve $18,469.73.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve the Celtics Trail reopening cost estimate approval for $18,469.73.
I can second that, yeah.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
That's all I have, Chairman Hoskins, unless there's any
Thanks,
questions.
Phil.
Okay, thank you.
Next, are you all finished now with your executive director's report?
I am finished.
Okay, next on the
Mr. Chairman,
agenda is the board commissioner comments.
Mr. Chair? I just wanted to welcome the interim city administrator. I think a lot of you know him, but Ron Jacobson, appreciate you being here and getting caught up with what Ignite is doing. And if you don't know Ron, please introduce yourself. I'm Ron.
Look forward to working with you. Please don't be shy. Anything else? I'd like to welcome our new executive director. Will, it was finally good to see you in that seat.
Thank you.
Sorry we're having so many accounting issues right now, but
It's okay.
I think you got a pretty good handle on it, so. Anything else? How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're adjourned, and Mike, that's a wrap. Thanks, everyone.